Hello everyone and welcome to Great Britain, qualifying for the British Grand Prix, currently following Scuppins around for the last 7 seconds and the order is about to be decided. Joining me today is Shea and the director of Ion Kashmir.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So not much is going to be happening anymore. However, an impressive performance from the Novena of F1 fan in 3rd place, as qualifying has now finished, as well as in P5 the Lotus of Scuppins with their new livery, which I don't like.
Ooh, Kakari was on a fast one and he flips over the barriers.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's gonna ruin his time. But luckily, you get first and second for qualifying, as far as I can see.
Safari 1-2 and Dakar does seem to have returned.
Yes, Dakar has returned. I would expect so. I would feel bad for him to be leaving Ferrari with a pit.
Mm-hmm.
And McLaren also have their new livery based. Is this just for this weekend or is this permanently?
I'm not
I
sure.
believe the British team are doing a special British livery, paying homage to the old McLaren Vodafone days, of course.
Kind of ironic that it is a McLaren livery, and yet the only brand I see on that car is Mercedes.
Yep. I guess back in the day it was McLaren Mercedes. They had a very strong works deal with the British manufacturer.
That would explain the SLR McLaren.
Yep. And of course, being the works team back in the day. And McLaren also returning to Mercedes power in 2021.
I believe when Mercedes wanted to actually have their own F1 team, they tried to buy out McLaren before buying out
They
Broad
did.
GP.
Yep. So McLaren lost out, I guess. Let's see. You know what? I never thought about this, but if actually never mind, that would make sense. I was thinking if qualifying happened during the race, or if qualifying happened in the rain, and the times were slow, then the laps would be significantly shorter if it was a dry race. But usually, if it's wet in qualifying, it's wet in the race too, so not too big of an issue.
I wouldn't see too much difference in weather happening between qualifying and the actual race. By the way, were you able to have those double lights set up properly?
Yes, they should be functional now.
Great. Finally, a very asked about feature 2 Ion is now going to be tested on the Britain track.
See.
Let's hope it actually works properly.
I tested it in studio a few times. It looked like it was fine.
All right, great. I'd hate for the back of the grid to start the race before the beginning of it.
No, that would be hectic. We have another Magello incident.
So there's going to
Alright,
be
we already
34 laps here and around this British airport circuit. Looking for some heavy rain very shortly. We're going to see the actual details of the forecast in the opening sequence, which will be happening in a very short while as we get ready for the race itself. Welcome to the home race of the freshly team switched TDM fan and myself, as we are at Leysdown International Airport in Great Britain for round 5 of the 3rd season of the Ion Formula 1 World Championship. The Leisden Airport circuit is by far one of the fastest tracks we are going to see these cars go around, along with Suwon in South Korea. With a minimal amount of just 12 corners and 2 long straights, this layout takes advantage of the unique layout of the airport it is based on. Turn 1 smoothly takes you from the start-finish line and past the control tower and through Turn 2, which then sets you up for the fast left-right of Turns 3 and 4. The 2 long runways, which are where planes usually are taking off, are serving a slightly different purpose today, as the vehicles hurtling down here will be producing lift in the opposite direction, better known as downforce. The 2 DRS zones are also being homed here to provide excellent overtaking possibilities and fantastic racing. The unpredictable British weather has brought us a 46% chance of rain, as there is an extremely high chance that the intermediate tyres will be seen today. If it gets so bad, even the wets can be brought out, but if it hopefully dries up, the soft, mediums and the hards will be on standby if they are needed. Paddy Kuro, following 2 surprise wins, currently leads the Drivers' Championship with 62 points, 10 more than second place. That is the Ferrari driver of Kaikera. Season 1 and 2 champion Dakar is currently running third with 51 points, and the 12th and 13th positions are currently filled by the drivers who have swapped seats, as JQ and Rec has moved from Brandstar to Novena, and TDM Fan has done the same except in the opposite direction. 4 drivers at the bottom of the table are still not classified, and I say it again, including Castronix, who was one of the most impressive drivers last season, has still not finished any race within the points. Dakar on pole, Kaikera in second. It's another Ferrari 1-2 as the first and second rounds of this season ended. Rounds 3 and 4, like I just said, won by Paddy Kuro. However, what's going to be happening in today's race, as I don't believe he's actually racing. Joining me today is Brandstar team owner Shay, as well as Ion Senior Director Kashmir.
Hey, what's going on, people?
Hey guys.
So, Shay, I heard you saying earlier, Paddy Kuro might not actually be racing today. He's not on the grid.
Might not. No, he will definitely not be racing today. He is on vacation. It was planned before this race happened. So right now, Paddy Kuro will not be racing in either F1 or GT3. So the person taking his place at the moment is going to be TDM Fan. TDM Fan was the person, as you said, who was in Novena, but was marked down as a reserve driver after JQ1 took his spot. But seeing as this is his home circuit, TDM Fan was very willing to race with us today, just so that he could race in Britain. Might be a one-time thing, it might not. We'll have to see. But as for the other driver, that is Wolf Landry, who has been having a sizable lead in the F2 championship, but is now going to be running with us in F1 due to JQ1's changing. If he stays in F1 is yet to be seen. It depends on how he positions today. If he gets a podium, then he will definitely be staying in F1. If not, he'll probably be running back in F2 next week.
How do you feel about Lotus now having a very similar livery to you?
I mean, it's Lotus, and since it is, I think a lot of people are actually doing throwback liveries right now, so I have no real issue with it. I do believe they'll go back to their old livery later on, since this is Britain and they are Lotus, because McLaren will be doing the same thing with their Mercedes McLaren Vodafone livery.
Yep, I appreciate it when teams do throwbacks like this, especially in their home races, as McLaren and Lotus are both British teams, and this is the British Grand Prix.
Well, let's talk about the track real quick, because this is a very interesting track that we haven't seen yet on any sort of... I believe it. No track actually compares to this one right now, as we are right now in... What was the name of that airport again?
Leisden Airport. It's in the southeast of England, along the Thames estuary, the famous River Thames, which runs through the middle of London.
Yes, and this track has a lot of hairpins and only one chicane, so downforce might be an issue, but with these airstrip DRS zones, having some low downforce might be of benefit, depending on how much rain we're going to have today.
The runways are, I say it, stupidly long. I mean, it takes you at least 20 seconds to get down the one that takes you from turn 5 into turn 6 because of its immense length. I mean, do these straights compare with the back straight at Suwon? Because I remember that was really long as well.
I do believe the Suwon one is actually a bit longer, but I could be mistaken on that point. But yes, the DRS Zone 1 is considerably long.
Yeah.
And the one in DRS Zone 2 is a bit shorter, but not by too much.
No, the
But we'll see how
DRS 2
people
is still
actually...
really long.
Yes. Although, I don't know if it compares to Suwon. That is yet to be seen. I feel like Suwon was about, I'd say about a sixth of a mile longer than this, but
Mm-hmm.
either way, a lot of the rest of the track is going to be able to have some high-speed areas, and especially the entry into DRS Zone 2, as that is only, I believe, about a 40-degree turn.
Yeah. As we start the formation lap, Dakar heads off in front as he has qualified on pole position. I believe he's qualified on pole in every race apart from the first round in Australia, where Donza Hajek in the Audi actually qualified P1. However, Dakar has not finished the previous 2 races due to crashing out.
Actually, I'd like to take that back. That is not a 40-degree turn. That is an acute angle. That is an obtuse angle on that entry to DRS Zone 2, so that'd be more like a 130-degree. Sorry, chat.
40 degrees in the other direction.
So
Sure.
in other news, drivers complaining about the dirty air. So strategy is going to play a key role in where you come out on the track and the outcome of this race. Whoever gets the strategy right, we might see a lot of people trying to pull the undercut just to get out of that dirty air. Let's see if Kara pulls anything on his own team.
Actually, not only that, but if you can look on turn 7 and turn 8, you are seeing a bit of a color change. That is because there is a centerpiece going into the taxiway for turn 7, and then there's the taxiway going to the airstrip. That is a fraction, like a very small decimal of an elevation change, and that might be causing these F1 cars to go awry and then sliding out.
Definitely something the driver's going to have to be careful with, especially when changing surfaces. Do these surfaces actually have any, what's the word, grip change?
There are grip changes on the red and black sections. There is a tiny fraction of a friction change. However, the sand areas, the gravel pits on those hairpins, do have a considerable amount of friction change.
As you can see the airport in the background as the car lines up, getting ready to go into his first place position on the grid, quickly followed by his teammate Kai Kara in P2.
Looks like that stand is still an issue.
I'm seeing in the chat right now a lot of people talking about wanting to make their own F1 teams. You can do that on Ion. However, right now all Formula 1 teams are taken. The only way to get one of those is to join the Discord and talk to Fasta about getting a new team. But that might be something not happening until the next season.
Depends if any teams drop out, like what happened with... What's it? I forgot the name. I know it. I know the name. But I forgot it.
Well, you have 34 laps to remember that because the
hang on a
drivers are
second.
watching the
Race is
lights.
about to start.
Here we go then. The 5 lights are on. And they
there
go
they
off
go.
very quickly, and we are away in Britain. Kaikara gets a very good start and is right up there with Dakar, and the Lotus, Audi and Novena are currently scrapping for 3rd place as we go round turn 2. Now through the chicane, very quick. Dakar has pulled a gap onto Kaikara, and here we go down
Oh,
the
our
He's
first
straight.
crash.
using his front wing.
Oh, well, that's only a front wing, so he's still able to run the race, but now he's going to have to go further back in this pack due to the fact that he has no front wing, and that is at the very beginning of the lap. He's going to fall back a considerable amount.
East Sliders,
the
the
funny-
new driver for Toyota, has just lost his front wing.
East was boasting a lot about his consistency, but it seems as though that chicane has completely screwed him.
Yeah, funny enough, actually, he ran over the bumps and then hit the wall, and it's funny because he suggested that the bumps be as high as they are. So
Here comes the trouble area. Let's see if we have any more problems.
Dakar set a purple sector,
Seems
but that
like
has been
everybody
quickly taken
able to-
away
Oh
by
no,
TDM
somebody went through the
fan.
bumps. Who was that? That was a Valor driver. Real Body Boy went through those jumps. Went through the bumps on that second DRS zone entry.
Yeah, looks like both valets are okay though.
And it seems like every car is on the grid right now.
Yep, except for East, who has to make the early pit stop. Nobody wants to be pitting on lap 1, but that does mean that he'll be running the fresher tires uh,
By
and
one
not
lap,
be
though?
running the
Well,
dirty air.
that's one thing, but that's only by one lap. That might be a considerable amount of difference.
Yeah, as he comes into the pits here, we should spectate him in 24th position right now and last.
Let's see
Very
if anybody
difficult
else
to
has any
actually hit
problems on the
24th
chicane.
position. Here he comes
Will
in.
anybody learn from East's mistakes? Seems like everybody's been able to take that corner a lot better. However, you still see that ZR Zint, you still see that ZR Zint front wing on there, even after he replaces it. That'll be there
Yep.
until he resets his car.
Without a doubt. Looks like Dakar is still out in the lead. Dakar currently being the only person not affected by the dirty air, and the dirty air extends up to 3 seconds behind. Kakera with a purple first sector though, so he's going faster. He's finding some kind of pace out there. Looks like Dan's Hijak almost gets ahead of him here.
Very interesting fighting for the
Looks like
remaining podium positions.
Yeah, looks like everybody's tied between 6th and 12th here. Interesting. Meanwhile, it looks
Wait,
like
hold on,
Dan's...
that's a crash. That's a crash. That's a Brand Star. No, that's not a
Oh,
Brand Star. That's a Lotus. RTZ
it's a
Phoenix
Lotus.
has crashed on the entry of the DRS zone.
Oh, he's our first out.
And it seems
As he
like a
gets out
Ferrari
of the
just
car.
went into the hairpin sand trap. I think that was Kakera.
As well as the Velour of
go ahead and get-
Jogsy.
Oh, another crash?
Yep.
Interestingly enough, it looks like Kakera is actually pulling in on his teammate Dakar here.
Very interesting, very interesting. The fog making it a little harder to find
Around
crashes
here
today.
comes East Sliders to gain positions after having to pit.
Seems as though RTZ Phoenix was able to get into that red area away from the main track, which is good. We wouldn't want anybody crashing into him. However, the yellow flag will still remain until he resets that car.
They need to reset it very quickly. If not, it's going to be a big risk
That is
for the drivers
number
coming
61
around.
cash.
Thank you.
And here comes the drivers into turn 7. Ferrari having a considerable lead right now. Dakar and Kakera in those two top positions.
But let's say in the Live Drivers' Championship, Costronix is currently... What position is he going to be in?
Who is that in the back of the pack? That's a
21st, I
McLaren.
believe. Because he's currently running 10th.
Alright, so East Sliders has made his way up to 22nd here. Still a considerable way behind any of the drivers ahead of him, about exactly 20 seconds off the next driver, so he's got a lot of time to make up here.
But the good thing
I
is
wonder
he
if
doesn't
him
have
not running
dirty
in...
air.
Exactly, I wonder if him not running in the dirty air will actually preserve his tires and allow him to run longer into this race here. They're going to need some lucky strategy calls if they want to get East back up into the points here.
We'll have to see.
Yep.
As long as they get both of their drivers across that line, they'll be able to get some extra resource points for next week, no matter how they position.
Exactly.
Kubaton currently
Luckily,
running
East is able
12th
to
in
still
the
run.
McLaren. That's actually pretty good for the McLaren team.
Yeah, actually. And he's not too far off of 7th, 8th, and 9th ahead of him. In fact, all of these cars running in a really long train all the way up until about I believe that's 4th position.
Here they come down the second DRS zone.
JQ and Rec switched to Novena.
Oh, that's an... Oh no, Aston Martin has crashed! Aston Martin has crashed. Professor Bloxer is out of the race.
Professor
Oh,
Bloxer.
and he's normally on for some wins.
He's
Let's see
one
if
of
he
the
can
best
get that
drivers in the
parked right there.
series. He's
Heartbreaking.
now out of this race.
It's that DRS zone 2 again. It's
Yep.
that turn 8. It is ruining people. Well, that's pretty heartbreaking. That is number 13 for Aston Martin, now out of the race, which leaves only one driver, Ferdinand. Yellow flag on the track until that car's off, and it is now off. Any more?
So yeah, the dirty air really affecting drivers out here now. Interestingly enough, this gap between Kaikera and Dakar seems to be fluctuating a lot, but I don't think their position on track actually changes that much. It does look like Dakar must be preserving his tires or something. I'm not sure if he's expecting heavy rain, but he is on the softer tires, so we're gonna have to see what he does if he stretches those tires out versus Kaikera, who's
I think
also on the soft tires.
I think they might be having issues with traction as everybody else, and they're trying their best to keep as much traction as they can, especially through that turn 8, as it's has a bit of a as I said before, an elevation change causing a bit of instability with the car, but it seems they've been able to figure that out. However, so has everybody else by the looks of it. No more crashes on that turn.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's running the hard tires here.
If the
Not even
brands,
East.
if the brand stars finish where they currently are, they're going to be P2 in the Constructors' Championship, because Aston Martin and Brandstar are currently tied for points after last week's race. So that's going to look very spicy in the Constructors as well as the Drivers' Championship.
Well, we'll have to see how that changes, as we are only in lap 6 of 34. We still have a good 2/3 of the race left to go. Actually, a
That's
little more
right.
than that.
And we're expecting heavy rain here soon. Not sure how soon. We're gonna have to wait and see what the forecast tells.
Definitely
That'll
going to
definitely
spice
be a
up the
big
results.
change in strategies for a lot of people. Britain looking dark and gloomy today. Let's see if people can have a bit of a sunny side to their strategies.
Good pun.
Yeah, I think I actually accidentally said gay there. That was a little awkward.
Yeah. We're doing this on the fly, people. We're live. It doesn't matter.
Toots saying in the chat, eSpirit needs catch-up in R&D unless Biggs is saving points for a spending spree. Interesting.
Is Kaikera actually leading? No. What is actually going on with the top
Oh
two?
no,
'Cause they
Kaikara
keep-
is leading.
Is he? It keeps no, Dakar is.
Based on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Oh well, it seems
It's
as though
not people-
Kaikara let Dakar take the lead on that one. Hopefully Dakar doesn't have an issue in the pits. Seeing as this is a curved one, and the last time he went into the pits he had a bit of a issue. A lot of people are a little worried about this track because of how non-standard it is for an F1 layout. I mean, I don't think I know of any sort of F1 races that are on an airport track. You got Silverstone, which is around it, but never on it.
Silverstone, a former RAF base. I think the closest thing in any single-seater series, really, to this track is going to be Berlin-Tempelhof for Formula E, because this very much reminds me of that track.
And then we of course have the Top Gear test track, the infamous Top Gear test track that does take place on an airport, or well, a runway at least.
That is true, but I don't see any F1 races happening there anytime soon. Maybe a Wreckfest one, but you never know.
Hey, they've driven Formula One cars on that track before.
Oh, true, but one at a time.
One at a time.
Seems as though a lot of people are having some consistency right now. No problems yet.
We're going to have to want to keep an eye on the top two Ferraris, because no matter what position, well, if Kaikara or Dakar finish in the top 3 or 4, I think 3, they're going to be leading the championship. Whichever one is above each other, because Panikuro is not in this race, and he is currently leading 10 points ahead of Kaikara.
Well, depending on how Ferrari... Oh, speaking of Ferrari, what the heck? One of the Ferraris disconnected? Kakara is out.
Kaikara's disconnected!
Well, I think that
He
puts a
had a
nail.
disconnection right after that DRS zone, too. That is on turn 9, right at the exit.
That
He is
is-
out of the race now.
That is the Eastern European...
Oh, it really hurts when you get out of the race, not because of a crash, but because of your internet. That is
I
heartbreaking.
know.
Yep.
That is to no fault of his own. He's now not going to earn any points this race.
I think
Neither
that
will
puts the
Ferrari
nail
for
in the
his
coffin.
resource points.
That puts the nail in the coffin for Kaikara's championship hopes for season 3. Maybe next season, Kaikara.
Well, Dakar will definitely be able to take advantage of that. Maybe he'll be able to get some more points than Kaikara in this race. Maybe he'll go back into the first place.
Well, there's
Yeah,
only
that's a real
chance.
shame.
If Dakar keeps the fastest lap and wins the race, Kaikara's only going to be 25 points off of the first place, which can easily be made up because Saket, as we've seen in the last 2 races, is prone to mistakes.
Oh no, what is this? Oh, a few people went into the bumps. Who is that just
A
flipped?
Novena!
That's F1 fan out the race. F1 fan is out of the
F1
race. That's a
fan.
Novena.
Oh.
Yellow flag on the track right now. That is number 23 F1 fan out of the race now.
Yep.
And
Oh no,
it
the Valor's
corrects
crashed into him.
Valor!
Oh.
Real body points.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
BMW.
Oh, we have 3 cars out in one corner. Come on, guys, respect the yellow flags. I think we're gonna need to call a safety car for this.
That is a safety car if I ever seen one. Oh, that's disappointing. That is Valor, Novena, and BMW's hopes of getting 2 resource points down the drain now. But both of their other drivers are still in this race. Hang on a second. It seems as though Valor has reset his car, but Novena still needs to reset his car. Number 23, Kashmir, you might need to get in there on that. Same with number 97, BMW. They're on the red section, so if they stay off the red section, they should be fine, but that Novena driver does have a wheel outside the red section. And that is right on the apex as well, so that's going to be horrible.
Jostling for position. However, I don't believe they were going to
And here
do
comes
that.
the rest of the drivers. Hopefully they all avoid him, especially JQ F1 fan's teammate. Yep, he was able to get through that pretty unscathed. That Novena car still needs to get off the track. Same with the BMW. They still haven't reset their car, so that's still going to be a yellow flag. Someone needs to go and reset those cars real quick. I might have to be the one to do that. Okay, so number 23 and number 97, Novena BMW. Let me take care of that real quick.
Pitting. Wolf Landry is pitting.
A few of the Novenas
JQN's pitting.
and Lotus are pitting.
Everyone's pitting. Scuppens as well.
Alright, BMW is off the track. Let me get that other car off the track as well. Alright, track is clear.
I believe Scuppens has actually come out ahead of JQN Wreck out of the pits. We're going to see how that battle unfolds for 5th and 6th.
Alright, cars are off the track now. We should be good to go after this safety car lap.
We're gonna have to wait for the field to catch back up.
Alright. Looks like that might be a while, as there is a BMW driver just crossing the line right now.
There's a big gap between between the safety car and the back of the field.
Now thinking about it, that massive pileup is very good for East, who had that early incident where he lost his front wing and was running 20 seconds behind the pack.
That's going to bunch up the field, get him back into the pack.
We're about to see a really interesting shuffling of positions right now, as everybody's now going to have considerable amount of time to do overtakes and falling back.
All right. Well, since Fast is not here, you want to keep me updated on where the field is at?
Right now, I believe the last place is going down that first DRS zone right now. That is going to be a Red Star driver, Delta.
All right. Well, tell
I
me
don't think there's anybody else on the field unless there's somebody doing a late pit stop, which I do not see. So that should be the rest of the field once that Red Star gets over to you.
And all right, well, tell me when the last car is on the back of the pack, please.
He is now there. Okay, so yeah, you got the whole grid on you now.
So I think we can do safety car in this lap?
Yep.
All right. You want to announce it?
Sure, I'll do that. And there's the message. They now know. That safety car will be going into the pits right after this turn, and then we will be back into a green flag. I'll set the green flag as well.
Thank you.
Once they turn that last corner.
The care on the hards, Jack on the mediums. Is he going to be able to pip him when they get to the line? Put him into the lead, perhaps?
And that'll be a green flag.
There we go.
And there they
Rounding
go.
The last corner. And across the line. And we're racing again. Dakar has gotten a gap to the Audi. However, they seem to be gaining slowly. The McLaren. How has the McLaren gotten up there?
Well, you know, he was in a safety car, so it makes sense.
Yeah. McLaren, of
However, it
Project
seems like
User.
Zen had to fall back again.
The pack is very
Ooh, a
close
big
together
shuffling
at the
now.
moment. It's very difficult to see who is where. We're going to have to go with the driver tower because Stronix has dropped
I don't know.
back
I think
4
that is a
places.
Lotus right now. Is that a Lotus in third? I see.
That is Scuppens battling with the Brown Star.
Kind of interesting how Dakar was actually able to pit, come out onto the hards, and return back into the lead of the race.
Well, let's see if it does any benefits for him. And here we go. That DRS zone again has been causing many people a lot of issues. But it seems as though everybody's able to take a better line through it now.
As they come
As everybody
through
goes through that
now.
unscathed. Was that a bit more fog I see added?
Still
Ooh.
only 5% of track water, but it does seem to be slightly more foggy.
Alright, here they come.
Ominous signs here for the weather in the Great British Grand Prix.
There's going to be a snap, and then it's just going to be torrential downpour for, like, I don't know, the next 12 weeks.
Is that
Yep.
East still in last, I see? Yeah, that is East still in last.
Or it could do what it normally does, start raining for 5 minutes and then be clear skies.
Yeah,
Anything
the British
can
weather
happen.
is extremely unpredictable.
Anything can happen.
Interestingly enough, though, Dan Tijak here on the soft compound tires compared to Dakar's hard compound tires isn't able to make up any ground on Dakar. It looks like he's actually losing more time, if anything. The dirty air here seems to be very powerful, especially in these high-speed turns. So Dan Tijak might just be trying to keep it out of the wall right now.
I think everybody's trying to keep it out of the wall right now.
Yep, nobody's really pushing. That's why you see a huge midfield battle, because everybody's affected by the dirty air, essentially.
That is a huge midfield battle. That dirty air is going to start affecting a lot of people. But it seems as though it's not going to affect them enough for them to lose traction of their car, as yet again, everybody goes through it unscathed. Turn 8, I believe.
Yep. Oh, we have an announcement. Rain increasing soon. Light rain. So that
Light
confirmed
rain,
this
light
decision
rain.
here.
This is gonna get interesting. They're gonna come in.
How much is that going to change percentage? Because I feel a lot of people will try and stay off the intermediates as much as they can until it becomes it becomes impossible
downpour.
to ignore it.
Yep. Most people actually here probably trying to extend their stint, waiting for the heavy rain as forecasted.
Their stability is going to decrease significantly when that rain starts picking up.
PDXS
Yep,
is DNF'd out of last week's race, currently running 16th.
Interesting.
East is also...
We have a huge gaggle of cars on the main straight right now. If you spectate PDX, we're looking at about 5 or 10 cars ahead of him on the straight alone.
So how many drivers does that make that has finally had a crash in this race? That's what, 5, I believe?
Well, P...
Yeah,
So
looks
far,
like East is...
Team's not in. P... Yeah, so... that is 6.
6.
I think.
Oh yeah, because Kakara had the disconnect. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, the last
5
running
crashes.
cars. Oh, we
Red
have another
Star
crash
of
in this
Delta. Red Star of Delta lost a wheel.
Oh, that Red Star has crashed in the red. Irony. That is going to be a number. What number is that? Number 15. Red Star Delta.
Yep.
Now out of the race.
The remaining Red
There's a
Star
yellow
of
flag on the
Cool Plug
track.
currently running P15. P14, sorry. Is matched is identically. Is that a word? Identically. He did match. He matched the
Cash,
time
you
to
taking
Dolph
care of
and
that car?
Greg. Now
Yep.
is ahead
All right.
by
Number 15 again.
0.6 seconds. Dakar has a very large gap to Dancer Hajek, currently at 6 seconds. He's gained over 5.5 seconds in one lap.
And here comes Dakar down that turn 8. He still has the red star on the field. Need to get that off the track as fast as possible as this midfield starts coming in.
Delpha
Oh,
seems to
and he's
want
out.
to
That's going to be a green flag now.
Delpha seems to want to walk back to the pits. I don't think he'll actually be able to do that considering he is on the opposite side of the airfield.
Well, luckily he's on the red section, so not many F1 cars are going to go through that section, especially in the DRS zone. They're going to want to keep it on the track, so it's not like he's going to get run over or anything.
It's funny that we can spectate him actually while he's walking and to see how fast these cars really are.
I mean, he will walk 500 miles, and he will walk 500 more just to be back into the pits.
Shay, how much research have you done before actually coming here? Because I don't know what they're called, but your references are very good this weekend.
Well, as for joke references, I just get that on the fly. But as for track references, I mean, I've had a pretty good knowledge of this track, seeing as I helped build it. But other than that,
helped, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, helped, as in did 95% of the work.
Hey, I gotta get my 5% in somewhere.
I built the control tower.
I mean, you were the one who
That's
put in
my
the
5%.
lights, so I will give you credit for that.
I put the lights in?
Well, the starting lights.
Oh, I thought that was faster.
Well, I mean, you fixed them.
Yeah, let's go. Okay.
So much work.
Dancer Jack. It actually was sad face. Anyway, we have Dante Jack here. Currently 6.2 seconds off. You know, I would expect him to be a lot closer, and I would expect people to start doing the undercut. We have 15% track water here. I wonder if people will start switching onto the intermediates as we see Dance go extremely deep into that corner, but that is the karting line. Taking the wider line around the corner does give them more traction.
I mean, from what I've heard in terms of chatter in the F1 teams, it seems as though a lot of them are actually kind of not liking the intermediates. So as long as they can, they're going to stay off of those tires, keep on those softs. And if it gets too hard, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 track percentage water. That's when they're going to start hitting those intermediates. And then once it starts getting a little heavier, I'd say around 70 to 80%, they're going to want to go into those wets. But each team has a different strategy and has different knowledge of these tires. So these strategies might be the ones that make or break their race.
Definitely here. As we see in 9th and 10th place, we've got the two McLarens running in the points. That'll be good for their home race. And Project Car is actually not, Project User. That's a game. Project User actually running in the points and hasn't crashed out yet. That's actually quite surprising considering we've seen him crash out in nearly every race so far.
I think it seems as though every race he's been in that where he's crashed was had issues with inclines. I believe that was on both Greece and Suwon where he had those heavy crashes.
Keep Project User on a flat plane, he'll be fine.
Yeah, as this is a flat track, he might actually be enjoying this track a little more than those.
Well, we do have wet weather here, so we'll see how that affects him.
Well, that is true, but there was also... Oh, E-Spirit had a bit of a fishtail on that turn 8.
Oh, the PDX.
That could have been.
Yeah, we see him running down in a 15th position. That could very well have been the E-Spirit of PDX.
Oh, no, that was not PDX then. That was definitely Cass that had that fishtail.
Behind the Aston Martin.
Yes.
Could score his first points of the season.
Oh, well,
oh wow.
We'll have to
Only
see.
halfway into the season.
Yeah.
As for East, he's having a hard time.
Speaking of, we have two cars pitting.
Very well.
We've got the Aston Martin of Fernand.
And Fernand.
Fernand with... Well, actually, interestingly enough, the Aston Martins have a gray tag for some reason.
They do?
Yeah. Down looking 13th position, that's gray.
That's Fernand. Fernand's Aston Martin.
Yeah. I'm just saying their color block is gray instead of green, which is
it's green
a little
for
confusing.
Me.
Yeah, for Depot it is green, I will say.
Interesting. I wonder why that's the case for me. Anyway, they come out of the pits. PDX comes out of the pits, and East Sliders comes out of the pits. I would have expected him to run a little bit longer into this race, but he does grab the intermediates. As we have 20% track water right now, we'll see if that was the right call in a lap or two here.
I'm going to be watching this turn 8. It seems as though the
Kubaton
place
just
where
went wide in
everybody's
the
had the most
McLaren. His
amount of problems.
teammate Project User has just gone up ahead.
Project User making up some positions here. I wonder if his teammate made a mistake. Because now his teammate's going to have to deal with the dirty air. But he does get the DRS running onto this back straight here, which runs a parallel to the other back straight on the main runway here.
Technically, they don't run parallel, but never mind.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Mathematical.
Yeah. The DRS
What would
zone
we call
2
that?
is at about a 15-degree angle to DRS
So
zone 1.
What are we calling that? Adjacent or...
It's adjacent,
Almost
but
parallel.
very far away.
Yeah.
And
So do we have
four
any-
drivers are pitting, including Dakar, who's now come out. Dakar TDM fan, Dancer Jack, Wolf Landry, Scuppens, and JQN. As the McLarens now come in, they're all coming in at the same time. Everyone down to 12 has boxed.
Yep, just watch Dakar come into the pits and exit. So whatever the guys behind him we're doing seems to be the right call for the Ferrari strategist.
What do you guys think is the biggest rivalry on the track right now, as in terms of team v team?
The McLarens are very close to each other. The Brand Stars are also running in consecutive positions, but physically on track, they're quite far apart from each other.
Yeah, we know East Sliders actually won the inaugural race in GT3, and he's currently running down to 16th, but we know he's only running down there because he lost his front wing at the start. So Lawful Greg and East Sliders do seem to have quite a rivalry going on between them, as they do drive for different teams in GT3 as well.
Oh, a lot of people having a bit of oversteer and understeer during that turn 8. I think I saw
Ooh.
somebody actually sliding into the curbs on the outside.
Yeah, as we have 25% track water right now. These are definitely intermediate conditions.
This is
All right, so you heard it
getting
from
very
Kashmir.
spicy.
That is a 25% track water. I know you can't see that on stream as very well, but that is going to be a 25% track water.
Yeah, as we see the spray actually increasing now. It's getting thicker and it's getting fatter.
I believe that everyone is now running intermediates all the way back to Project User, who's fallen back to the back of the grid.
Mm, There is a brand star now going into the pits right now. That's TDM fan. He's probably going to be switching out those tires real quick. That's going to put him back a few positions.
Interestingly enough, I just noticed on the rear wing of the McLaren there, they're running a tiny little Ion logo. That's pretty cute.
Cool.
And here comes Dakar. They're turn 7 and turn 8.
I want to see how long it'll take
takes that.
before the majority of the field is lapped by Dakar, because the overall field from Project User all the way up to TDM fan, so that's 8 positions. That's only 10 seconds.
They got to take some interesting lines, and if they're not taking the right lines, then they're going to be falling back a considerable amount.
Definitely. And you want to hear something interesting?
Go
This
ahead.
is interesting.
So, East Sliders, it looked like he was extremely far behind his teammate, but he's actually only 3 seconds behind his teammate. I believe his teammate Pitt. And now that they're on
pretty
equal
much
pit
next
stops,
to each other.
yeah,
Oh,
on
that's
track.
interesting.
So that's gonna be a real battle to watch. From what I'm seeing here, it looks like the BMW actually is running less downforce than most of the cars around it, because it really pulls away in the straights, but in the corners, it gets swamped by the other cars.
It's the battling act. Balancing act you need to do
Battling?
between.
Balancing, yes.
Yeah, balancing act
Yeah.
you need to do between how much downforce you actually want. Do you want to gain on the straights, or do you want to gain in the corners, or do you want them to both be the same? Because on a track like this, there's long straights, but there's also very technical corners.
That is true.
Ooh, we have East Sliders almost putting it into the wall again, actually at the exact same turn. He had a slide going into the corner, which is quite unusual because it's normally coming out.
He's living up to
His
his
rear tires.
name.
Yep.
East has
East
been
side is.
having some very big problems on this track. I wonder what's been causing them.
Yeah, I'm surprised people are still like brave enough to use the DRS here and DRS at the same time.
Well, I mean, they're going to do whatever they can to try and get ahead, even if it risks keeping them off the race.
Dakar
Because I've
Without
been
a
seeing
doubt.
driving a
some very,
brilliant race.
very interesting
11.8
lines.
seconds ahead of second.
Oh, it's nice to see these guys go do these fast entries through this turn 8 into the DRS. Get that speed, and with the DRS and the slipstream, they're able to get even more speed as they hit into that turn 9. That turn 9, though, is very tricky, I must say. That very late apex has been getting a lot of these drivers a little confused.
Yeah, it's actually a very hard turn to go into because like you don't actually see the apex until you're like halfway into the corner, so it's really hard to judge how much speed you're supposed to take in there.
I mean, yeah, a lot of these hairpins are very confusing hairpins to take, especially the ones in turn 9 and turn 10, as they are actually opposite in the way their apexes are. You got turn 9, which is a very late apex, and then in turn 10, that apex is right on that corner, and then you have a nice long curve afterwards.
Yep, and you don't want to lose too much speed going into the corner because you have to worry about the exits because most of these straights are decently long here.
Very true, very true.
Out of turn 10 and into turn 9, it's actually classified as a, well, officially classified as a straight on the track maps just because of how small the actual angles of them corners are.
I would never classify those as corners.
Eh,
If an F1 car can take it at full throttle, it's probably not a corner.
Well, that small kink in Austria, that's classed as a corner, even though it's really not.
I mean, yeah, and the chicanes in France are also deemed as corners as well.
Yeah, I mean, Eau Rouge is a corner, but the F1 cars take that flat too.
The official
Who would
definition
have
of
ever
what a
thought you'd have
corner
a...
is becomes very difficult when you get faster cars like this because they can take very serious things at very serious speeds.
Alright, I'd like to interrupt. Decare has a considerable amount of lead. How many seconds is that? It seems as though nobody is
12.3.
touching him right now. He got into the DRS zone, got out. Nobody was able to get in right away. Wolf Landry seems to be in second right now. He's trying to catch up. If he can keep that position, he'll get some good points for his team. Then Dan right behind him. I'd say that's about 8 seconds behind Dan being behind Wolf. Then you got JQN right in front of him, and then Scottman's still keeping with the rest of the pack. Very good.
Scoppin's actually
He's
putting in a very good performance for Lotus.
That is true. Scuppin's bringing back the team, you might have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Lotus had a lot of problems during a few of their F1 races, losing both of their main drivers and having to rehire. But it seems as though this Scuppin's driver is doing some work for their team. Hopefully he'll be able to finish the race on them.
Home race, could you call that?
That is true. But not only them, but McLaren, this is their home race as well. How are they doing?
They're only 12th and 13th, which is pretty good for how McLaren have actually done in this league. But you have to remember, Prime Drifter qualified P5 in France, I believe.
Hang on a second. I do believe the fog is starting to clear up. Is the rain starting to stop? Cash, can we get an update on that?
Only time will tell. It does look like it is clearing up, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, the fog has cleared out, but I don't know if that means the rain will clear up or if it just means the fog is going to be a lot less of an issue for these drivers.
Dante Hajek has a massive gap to Wolf Landry, who seems to be driving a pretty good race.
I guess I spoke too soon.
20 seconds separating the top three. However, then only 34 separating P3 to P16.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to have a very interesting championship battle here for the win like we did in the other races. But regardless, we still have a really tense midfield battle here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we are 2/3 of the way into the race. So if people are going to start doing 2 pit stop strategies, they might be starting to do some pit stops very shortly.
Well, we've already seen Dakar come in 2 times, one under safety car, and he stayed in the lead, so that didn't really count. And everyone else has come in at least 1 time. I think East came in on lap 1, and everyone else came in on around lap 15, I believe.
Yeah, East pit on the first lap here, but it's interesting because he has the same amount of pits as everybody around him.
Everyone is on
Interesting.
2 pit stops.
I'd say how many cuts everybody's on, but I don't think that's going to be an issue with these yellow bumps.
You can see how many cuts they've done if they're in the wall.
Yeah.
If they're in the wall or their car is flying.
I mean, suitable
Yep,
as
just
this is
up.
an airport.
Well, true, but the only time you want your F1 car to be flying is, well, never.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, you want it to be flying when transporting it to the next race, I guess.
Well, yeah, if you're flying in a straight direction, in a level direction, sure. But if you start, going up, then something might be wrong with that. As East Sliders has had issues with that last season on that Japan circuit.
Yeah, the engineers have fitted the wings the wrong way round. You're going to have to call someone up in HR.
When you say you're about to head out, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boeing doesn't actually own a team in Formula One, unfortunately. Otherwise, I think we would see more flying cars.
Mhm.
But I
Otherwise,
guess they do own this airport, if you think about it, as every single airplane here is going to be a Boeing 777.
What?
is that what they?
It's a 737.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a Boeing. It's a Boeing.
The 777 is the longer variant. The 737 is the short. You normally see American Airlines operating these smaller planes. Actually, go ahead.
Speaking of that, hang on a second. Aston Martin looks like he's
Anything?
going to be doing a pit stop.
Banana in the pits.
Oh, that's not Professor Bloxer. That is
That is
Fernand.
Ferdinand. Professor did a crash.
Yeah, he's no longer in this race. Nor is
Sadly.
anyone beneath East Sliders, Delta,
believe-
F1
I feel like
fan,
Professor was
the real
like one of
bossy
the most
boy,
consistent
Rowie,
drivers.
Kokera, or Jogsy.
I feel like Professor Bloxer was probably one of the most consistent drivers on this track so far. And with that crash, he's going to lose a few points for his team.
Currently, yeah, which means that Brandstar at the moment are going to be second in the constructors, because Aston Martin and Brandstar, after last race, they were tied for points.
And now you got Kakera out of the race as well. Kakera was the one who went out of the race in Greece, but it seems as though Kakera is going to be the one to have that issue today. Will Kakera be able to have that issue? Will this be a repeat of France?
Heavy
Well, we'll
rain
have to
currently
see.
forecasted in ### minutes.
Well, we have 9 laps left to go. Actually, yeah, that is 9 laps.
Are we going to see
9 laps
everyone
left in the
pitting for
circuit.
full wets in the final few laps of this race? That could definitely spice things up for the podium and remaining points positions, which is currently being rounded off by Greg in the Toyota.
Well, it does all depend on how the water. If it recedes, then people are going to start going on those faster tires. But if it starts to pick up again, then we might even see wet stick.
Greg's lost a
Everybody's saying
win.
no. Kubatin. Oh nope. Kubatin also out of the race simultaneously. Who lost the wing?
What turn was that? That
Greg's
wasn't on
lost the
turn
ring.
8.
I don't know. I saw
Oh.
it when I first spectated on him. It was a shot of him going down the straight, and as he came back down the other end of the straight, he had a missing wing, front wing. I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know where he lost it.
Yeah, that makes both of the Toyotas. Both of the Toyotas lost their front
I don't see a car on the track. Do we want to call yellow flag?
wing. No.
Okay.
Greg
Kubaton
is pitting.
disconnected.
Oh, I see. All right. Yeah, then that won't be an issue in collision.
Yeah.
So now everyone down
However-
to P15.
Wow, the ZR is having problems with their front wings.
We've lost 8
yeah.
cars.
I guess ZR should have put a wing on it. I don't know.
Project user now 10th, 1.4 McLaren as Coubertin disconnected. That's only going to give him 1 resource point as well as Ferrari. The only teams getting 2 resource points is going to be Brandstar, Audi, not Lotus. E-Spirit currently have both of their drivers in, and I believe that is everyone, and Toyota. Toyota have both of their cars running. So they're
Yeah.
gonna get
Speaking of
2 resource
Brandstar,
points.
that's actually interesting. Wolf Laundry is currently leading the F2 championship. If he gets this podium, he's gonna have to give that up.
That is
because
true.
Yeah.
I did speak to Wolf before this race, He says if he gets the podium, he is safe in leaving the F2 positions, or sorry, his F2 position to JX Cash. That is the GT3 racer Branster, I believe. And Wolf, if he gets this podium, then he might just be the next Patrick Crew. We don't know. Who knows?
2 Paddy Kuros in one team. What could that do?
Another Ferrari?
Hmm. 2 dominant
Brad Star
teams.
becoming quite a force.
If you think about it, you have 2 good drivers, slap them in Brand Stars, and then start season 4.
If you think about this, is the best fantasy league we've ever
Yeah,
had. This is literally Ford v Ferrari in F1.
Yeah, you could be looking at the current constructors champions, but only time will tell. We've got 5 more races.
You will definitely not see him in the drivers' championship, especially Wolf, because he is 3 or 4 races down than everybody else. But as for constructors, maybe, as you still have Decare in this race, and unless he has a crash, he will be able to get more points than Wolf and TDM Fan.
Decare now approaching the back of the field, approaching TDM Fan.
Oh well, speak to the devil.
Now onto this runway, hitting that DRS. However, he can't actually open his wing because he's not overtaking anyone.
Hang on a second. Where is Wolf Landry? I saw Dan, but I didn't see Wolf. What position is he in?
Wolf,
Yeah, he's in second place.
P2. 15 seconds gap between P2 and P3.
Then who am I looking at? Because I see the carrot. Where is Wolf? I don't see Wolf.
35 seconds
19.
separate the top 3. Wolf, 19.9 seconds behind P1. Dante Hajek, 35 seconds behind P1.
I'm so confused. I see Decare, and then I look back, and the first person I see behind him is Dan. Wait, hang on a second. There's an E-Spirit driver who crashed in the pits.
Oh, that's Cast.
Castro.
Cass.
He
He is completely walled off that pit area. He needs to reset his car.
Okay, that means pit lane closed.
They're going to need to get that E-Spirit out of the way. Castronix not going to score any points. Still going to be unclassified in the championship.
PDX, though, is he still in the race? Or did he crash as well?
He's currently running last in P15. I believe because PDX was higher than P15. What E-Spirit might have done.
Brand Star.
What happened?
I believe that was either a Brand Star or a Lotus. Let me double check. I think that was actually
Scuppers to be alright.
Scuppers turn 1. Yeah, almost put it into the barrier. He was basically facing 90 degrees. He did a Max Verstappen from Brazil.
That's gonna wake him up a bit.
I believe that E-Spirit might have boxed both of their cars at the same time. PDX goes out first, and then Castronix crashes on his.
Alright, well,
way
somebody
out.
needs to reset that car. Number 6, E-Spirit. Nobody's in it right now. It can be reset real quickly. Wait, hang on a second. Oh, yeah, they do have a tire gone, so that car is out of the race.
Yeah, that front right is completely destroyed. And the car's gone, so the pit lane can reopen.
And green flag is back out for this race, as we are now on lap 29 of 34.
5 laps to go before the winner is crowned, most likely at the moment to be Dakar, but never say never because he's crashed out of the last 2 races.
That's a nice Justin Bieber reference.
You're welcome. Dakar currently physically in this race, in between Cool Plug and East Sliders, as he's currently lapped the back 3 cars of the field.
Oh, yeah, Kubaton disconnected. I just heard that from Capitan Bo. So that was a disconnect. That was not a crash.
Yeah. As soon as Rolf and Greg lost his wing, Kuba disconnected.
We are now on lap 30 of 34. 5 laps remain. I believe everybody's done all the pit stops they can, but anything could still happen. People start having troubles with their tires. They might go in for those pits. I don't see that being a case.
55% track water. We're now entering the transition period where wets may seem like the optimal.
Oh, I spoke too soon. That's 4 drivers now going into the pits.
Optimal tire. However, it's.
There's Decare going to the pits as well.
Is it?
Oh,
too,
wow,
Is it
I think
too slidey?
Oh no, I think almost everybody's going to the pits. The only person I saw not going to the pits was the
Low
Eastern
Fun
driver.
Greg nearly lost it in the pits. He was running sideways.
Well,
Yeah,
he is known
driver
to take his car sideways, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. However, let's see how they go when they get out of those pits. A very, very awkward angle of that pit line.
Everyone going in full the 4 wet. I just said it. We're now entering the transition period where they seem to be the optimal tyre. And Stacker, he's on it.
Is he still in the lead?
He's still in the lead. PDXS just ran
Well, we'll
wide
have
out
to
of
see
that
once he hits
corner.
that first sector. He still hasn't hit the first sector, so it's still unsure if he's in the lead.
PDXS is getting very, very slidey in the East Spirit.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's a bit of fishtailing, I see. Oh, speaking of slide, that's TDM fan. He did a full 180. Those tires are starting to ruin him a little bit. Oh, E-Spirit 2 going into the sand.
That's
but he
PDXS.
didn't
Still
crash
has
his
his
car,
wing.
so
He
he's
still
still
has
good to
his
go.
wing.
Oh, this water is really starting to ruin a few of these drivers.
Track water.
Yeah, this is the wettest race.
Uh-oh.
Track
Ooh, that was a bit
water
of
is
a
now
bump.
at
The Audi
100%.
Landstroid having problems on this one. A few of these people didn't
They
change their
can
tires.
barely
Now having a
drive
lot
these
of problems.
cars in straight lines. This weather is horrendous.
Yeah, Landstroid spinning just before the pit lane, actually. I didn't realize where he was on track. And look, he slides wide
Project
into the
User
pit
went
wall.
wide.
Luckily, he's able to keep his tires. The carriage
Yep.
seems to still not be having any problems yet.
Well, he is running on the fresh, wet tires.
That is true,
Oh.
but so was TDM fan, and he did a full slide.
30
Yeah, we actually see
seconds
these cars
separating
skating.
the top 2. This is very dominant from the Ferrari.
It's a thin ice race right now.
Yeah, if you spectate any driver, you can see them all getting sideways in the corners.
Yeah, and a lot of them are taking that sand area. Luckily, there's a bit of an escape route at the edge of that sand.
You know, it's surprising though, because even with 100% track water, it's crazy how much grip these cars have in the corners. It looks like they're almost basically stuck to the road on rails or something.
The tyres have
Well.
no grip, but the downforce aids them.
Yep.
As long as the tires are touching the ground, they should be fine. However, as long as
Yep.
they... Oh!
Oh, Wolf Laundry!
Oh,
He
hit
does
the
not
curves,
lose
but
a
he's
wing.
still safe. He's
Yeah,
still safe. But
yeah,
he should be thanking his lucky stars that he is.
Yeah, he didn't lose his front wing or anything. He's running currently in a second position.
But it seems as though his teammate TDM fan is having a lot of trouble in this water, as he did during a free practice as well.
Only
Good.
2 points for TDM fan at the moment.
All they have to do is keep those cars intact to the end of this race. Wolf has the ability to slow down a bit, let Dan pass him. He'll still be able to get that podium.
Dakar coming up to lap the Novena of JQN Rec, who's very slidey around these small corners. Now going
Only
into
3
turn
laps
11.
left to go.
Dakar, the leader, looks to he needs to bring this car home. That's what he needs.
Oh,
to
look how
do.
much. Did you see that? Look how much more confidence he has going into the braking zone. Just absolutely sending it compared to the
Novena.
Novena that almost
Yeah,
slammed
I
himself
think
into the wall.
Takara's had a lot of good practice with that first practice, actually the second practice where there was a considerable amount of water. I believe it got to at least 75% from what I heard.
In practice, yeah. This is going to be the wettest conditions that they have ever driven in. I don't think we've even had conditions this wet during
Novena just
testing.
drifted around turn 2 and into turn 3.
He's trying to cosplay East Sliders, I think.
Yeah, East Sliders cosplay, Tokyo drift style. Meanwhile, looks like Dakar is actually coming up to lap another car. Who was that ahead of him? That's
Seems like
the
these
Lotus.
These guys are getting into the Mandan drift.
Rap God says, I can tell Cashmere's having fun in the commentary. If only there was more crashes. But you know what? Still impressed that everybody's able to keep it on the track. We have Cast out of
top
this
four-
race.
yeah,
His
top
teammate.
four.
Ooh, some fishtailing to the Novena right before he gets into turn 8.
The top 14 are the only people left in this race.
Hot lap. It's getting to conditions where hot lap's going to be actually kind of detrimental to your times because you're going to get a lot of...
Oh, almost
Project
into the
User
wall.
crash?
Almost.
Oh,
He hit the. All right, so he his back kicked out and he hit the wall, but with the rear tire first, and managed to actually
These
keep
guys
it. That was.
have to hold onto their cars. There is only 2 laps left. Do not hit it. Do not do what TDM fan did in France.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't want
Whoa!
to
I
do it.
spoke too soon. That is a red star that lost their wing out of that turn 8.
Cool plug
Oh,
out.
a red star, cool plug. Oh, yep.
The only running red star.
Yeah, he's running DRS, but on the
Oh,
front
and with
wing.
that, and with the white
Is it going to be worth boxing him or just sending him to the end? We're on the last lap of the race.
Oh, that is right,
Oh
actually.
man, that is a little harsh for him. And now he's gonna have to go into that pit stop. Hope maybe he'll be able to wait for
JQM
Decare
getting
to
slidey.
finish the race for him.
Yeah, let's see. But you know what? That does give him more rear stability. Let's see if he stays out, and he does. He decides to stay out with the broken rear wing, considering this is gonna be the last lap for him. Dakar, meanwhile, he's ending the straight.
Yeah, he'll have to power through it.
Oh, we have TDM pulling over.
Oh, TDM.
TDM? What happened with TDM?
She's pulling over. Oh, he's waiting for the line to come up. He knows he's essentially already out of the points.
That's disappointing.
That's kind of sad.
But at least he'll be able to get some points for his team in terms of resource.
Here comes the McLaren.
Yep.
Here comes the
I
Audi.
think he was having a lot of problems with wet, so he doesn't really want to try and risk it too hard.
Yeah. Best keep the points for the team, so
And
probably a
here
smart
comes
move.
Dakar, rounding turn 10. 2 more corners to go, Dakar. 2 more corners. Don't screw it up now. Here we
Let's
go.
see if he puts it into the wall.
Turn 11.
I mean,
he keeps
he's
it
gone through these
safe.
turns
One more
multiple
corner.
times with no
One more
problem, so I
corner.
don't see it being a problem for him.
Here we go.
But
turn
this
12.
will be the end of the race once Dakar rounds this corner,
Here we go.
and he
One
does
more
so
straight
with
to
grace
go.
and sincerity.
And Dakar
And there he
crosses the
goes across
line.
the line.
About to cross the
Dakar.
line. Oh, he's going proper slowly.
Doesn't
Come
let
on.
JQ finish.
Oh, he is.
Here we
he is
go. Dakar
teasing
wins
TDM
in
fan
Britain.
right now.
A dominant
that
race,
looked more like a
fastest
tease
lap,
on JQN.
qualified P1, and has won. He's led every lap of this race. He's won it. He's sliding and losing a wheel as he finishes P8.
What? East lost the wheel? What?
He's
Yeah,
lost the
after
wheel
he,
as he crossed the line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's fine. That counts.
Let's see what Wolf is doing right now. Currently coming into the final corner, I believe.
Oh,
Yep, there he goes.
I've run the wrong graphic. That's East hasn't won. Ladies and gentlemen, East hasn't won. I'm sorry, he hasn't. I thought I was on the other page of my graphics software. East hasn't
Both
won.
the Toyotas crashed into each other.
The Toyotas are crashing into each other. East hasn't won. I need to wait 5
All
more
right, here
seconds.
comes a McLaren and Audi across the. No, I take that back. That is a BMW. Nope, that is an Audi.
Project
Can't tell from
user.
bird's eye view. There we go.
Actually, very surprised that he finished the race. Sorry. But he does finish in 12th place.
Aston Martin, Fernand, about to finish that final corner. He's going to cross the line.
DDXS P13, not the best performance from him. However, it's better than DNFing, which he did last week.
That is true. It is better than his teammate, I believe, that crashed out.
Mm-hmm. Castronics
But
crashed in the pits. That's slightly embarrassing.
yes, that is a bit embarrassing. But your podium for today is going to be Dakar in first, Wolf Landry in second, a sizable lead. And then you have Dan in third, and that'll round off your podium. And then you have Fernand, Scuppins, JQNR in sixth, Derp Dino for BMW in seventh, East Sliders in eighth.
So
He was
breaking news
last.
here. JQN actually wasn't even able to finish the race. He ran out of fuel
What?
before he was able to finish that last lap. Remember?
Oh my goodness.
Do you remember Dakar slowed down right before the line? So JQN was actually able to finish another lap,
So
but he didn't have enough
JQN
fuel to finish that lap.
So does that mean JQN it does a DNF?
Now he still finishes. Yeah, he qualifies, but it's just funny that he wasn't able to finish, so he has to walk past the virgin signs. Kind of thing.
Oh, get that picture while you can, boys.
He's walking very slowly back to the pits.
But that will still count for his lap. So that is 14 drivers that were actually able to finish. That's pretty good.
14 out of 23 or 4 that started.
So let's see. 1 Ferrari, 2 Brandstar, 2 Audi, 1 Aston Martin, 1 Lotus, 1 Novena, 1 BMW, 2 Zints, and that's going to be only 1 McLaren. What? Oh yeah, because of the disconnect with Kuba. And then one E-Spirit as well.
So it's only going to be Brandstar, Audi, and Toyota getting a full set of resource points heading into the next race. We're going to see what upgrades they can put onto their cars.
Definitely.
Here we
But
go.
that is going to be another Ferrari, Brandstar, Aston Martin podium,
JQN,
just as we saw in Greece.
JQN entering the pits now, being passed by Scuppens, who's actually driving his car. So very dominant race from Dakar. Certainly deserved that win because he was 30 seconds ahead of P2.
Seems as though a lot of these drivers did some good choices during this time. And now we just wait on the podium as we see those drivers go into the cool down zone. And we'll be back with you once that podium.
As you can see in the bottom right of your screens there, the top three cars, the Care, Wolf Landry, and the Audi of Dancer Hajek, I think. Yeah, that's Dancer Hajek. The F2 drivers who are going to be qualifying and racing next are getting very eager to go already.
Alright, we should be just about ready for the podium here.
So here we go. Podium time for this race. Great Britain, the top three finishers. Going to get to spray some of the not champagne so Roblox doesn't censor it and not allow it to actually exist within the game. Third place in the Audi, Dancer Hajek. Very good performance from him. In second place in his debut race for Brandstar F1 team, Wolf Landry is in P2, and in P1 is Dakar, the Season 1 and Season 2 champion. Very big congratulations to Ferrari, Brandstar and Audi. Brandstar now have scored a podium in the last 3 races.
And that will finish off your race in F1 today. Next up, we will be having the F2 race, followed by practice for GT3 in Dubai. And then you'll be able to catch that race at GT3 in Dubai tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Other than that, that'll be it for F1. Deepak, do you want to sign us out?
Thank you everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed that very wet race that we just had. Dakar wins again in F1. We're going to see you in 2 weeks' time after the mid-season break for more F1, but like Shea said, F2's up next and GT3 is up tomorrow. So thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.
And we'll see you on the track.
Cool, cool. Is it just me, or like, are all the iron races good?